Blog Talk Radio.
Gosh, within, let's see here, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, so that's 3 hours from now, I am going to be an old man. 43 years old. Oh, my God, I feel like I'm getting older and older and older as time goes on. But, you know what? It's just time, right? We're all been granted eternal life, right? Oh, yeah, it's just another wrinkle on the face. But anyways, welcome, guys. It is good to be back with you here on freedomizerradio.com. If you're listening to us over on Blog Talk Radio, please join us over at www.freedomizerradio.com. You can join us in our Chitango chat room. We've got all of our regulars in there. We got Brooklyn Girl. We've got Ren. We've got Dad White Knight. No Nibiru. No Nibiru's here. Yay! Good to see you. That's right. No Nibiru. August 17th came and gone, guys. But see, as I've told you before, nothing was going to happen on August 17th. Told you that we are on a positive timeline. I wrote that on my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Ursu Adams. I wrote that, we're on a positive timeline, guys. And tonight, I really kind of want to delve into that positive timeline. And because today I was out and about, and I was, again, looking up at the skies. Of course, you know me. I'm always looking up at the skies. And I took some video today while I was out and about in different sections throughout the day. And I was looking at these beautiful blue skies that we are having over Nevada, that we've been having over Nevada for the past several months, because we haven't been chemtrailed at all. I haven't seen one chemtrail plane in, I want to say, close to 78 days. Now, I was thinking as I was videotaping earlier, I was like, could this have anything to do with either A, proof says Vegas got sprayed. I don't get it. It's like here in Reno, it has been clean as a whistle. Now, what I'm thinking is like, could there be something to do with the timelines here? Because last year at this time, I can remember us getting sprayed like crazy. Or I'd see these things shooting out of the, coming out of the sun or disappearing. We all saw the video that I had of that one particular chemtrail that I was videotaping next to the clouds, and all of a sudden it disappeared. Today I want to kind of go into that and see, because I was watching a movie, and Vicki and I actually watched this movie together, and it was about UFO technology and chemtrailing and how they go hand in hand. And that possibly that some of these so-called chemtrail planes are not actually chemtrailing at all. They're actually time travel machines, either coming in from the past or coming back from the future. And I started getting, you know me, I always am thinking. I'm always thinking, well, how does that integrate with what's happening around me? My reality, it's around me, because I've been feeling very calm and collective as of late. A couple of weeks ago, I was all stressed out. I didn't know what I was going to do. And, yesterday this offer came in. This one lady says, why don't you come to this area right outside of Yosemite? You can run my bar above, you can run my bar here outside of Yosemite, and you can live above the bar. You do your radio show, all of that, and you can relax in this little town, the town of 800. And it's right outside of Yosemite National Park. And I looked at it. I looked at the town. Looked like a really cute town. I've never moved into a small town before ever. But then as I was walking around Reno today, I was like, I would really miss this place if I left, to go to some small town. One, I like to have, be able to go to, I like to go out and sing some karaoke. Like this Friday night, I actually went out and sang karaoke. I qualified for Karaoke Idol. I just hate that. Facebook has got this thing now where it's like an advertisement if you keep your Facebook open for too long a period of time. But anyways, I was going back to this. I was saying, I would miss Reno if I left it. I came out here for one reason. We all know what reason that was. And I've got several opportunities to go different places, but I'm starting to get settled here in Reno, and I thought about it. But then as I was looking at these beautiful blue skies today, I was like, well, if I'm not getting chemtrailed on, I might be on what we call a so-called positive timeline. But then I came across an article today. Of course, this weekend, this is probably why I was thinking about it, because this weekend, as we know, Alfred was down he was doing a simulcast for the chemtrail conference down in Los Angeles. The consciousness behind chemtrails conference in Los Angeles. And actually, speaking about Alfred Weber, he's going to be with Chris Geo this coming Friday on Truth Frequency Radio. And actually, I think I've got Chris here with me, actually. Chris Geo, welcome to the show.
Hey, Donnie, thanks for having us again. And, yes, Alfred will be joining us on Friday at 8 o'clock Central, and hopefully you'll be joining us as well.
Oh, yeah. You know, I have nothing to do on Friday night, so I'm, you know, tomorrow night actually going out to dinner with that girl I've been kind of seeing. She's making me a dinner tomorrow.
Tell us about the girl you've been seeing.
He told me.
Huh? Oh, I didn't tell you, Chris? I thought I told you.
No, you haven't.
Yeah,
I talked about the girl named...
I've been kind of seeing this girl here in Reno, and she's agnostic, which is kind of interesting. But you know, she's the same age as I am. She's a real cool girl. We're just kind of hanging out. But you know, this last couple of weeks, she's had her daughter in. Her daughter flew down from Idaho, and so they've been hanging out. So I haven't really seen much of her. But you know, she's going to cook me dinner, and I'm going to meet her daughter tomorrow, and all that stuff, and we're going to all hang out. So
I remember you telling me about a girl you met named Sheree, and you were like, "Hey, I met somebody named Sheree."
Doesn't want to say the name.
Well, This is a different girl.
Oh, okay.
That was that young one.
Daddy.
Donnie's being the stud muffin, you know. Donnie the whore.
Well, you got to go through all the bad ones before you find the good ones.
You know, she was just too young. You know, I think she was like 22 or 23. But you know, as I was thinking over the weekend here, you know, of course we had a stellar show on Saturday for special edition, and with Sleepy Salsa. Man, that guy was good. That
was a really good show, and I'm really glad I was able to participate in it as well. Even though I was exhausted, and you know, after this car accident, I can't really sit still for too long. But I sat still for that one.
That's right. You had that little incident with your truck, and somebody passed in the back of you. So how's your back doing?
I'm okay, but I don't know. You know, I've always said that when you go to the doctors, you get worse. In this case, I've been going to natural healers and chiropractors. No drugs, you know, nothing like that. No injections, no steroid injections. The doctor that the attorney sent me to wanted to do. But in this case, it was, I feel like I might be getting worse. And I'm thinking about just quitting going to the doctor altogether.
You said you've been you've been going to a chiropractor as well? Because every time I've gone to a chiropractor, I feel like I'm getting worse.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, every time because I have what they call, I was hit by a car in 1999, and I have my pelvis is actually one side of it's raised higher than the other, so one of my legs is actually longer than the other, and they have tried everything that they could, and one of my good friends back home in Minnesota is actually a chiropractor, and before he left to go to Washington, I was seeing him on a regular basis, and he had me on this like stretching machine, and it was supposed to stretch it was supposed to stretch my legs, and oh man, it made things worse. It totally made things worse, and I it's like right now I wear now lifts in my shoes to compensate, so that helps a little bit. But during the summertime, I'm always wearing sandals, so it's just like it kind of sucks. It's been so hot to wear shoes. I don't like wearing shoes during the summer. I'd rather not wear anything in the summer when it's so damn hot. I cut off all my hair, by the way.
Oh, you did?
I did. It had gotten so long, and I literally I decided that, you know, because I have such thick hair, I went into the barber shop and literally chopped it all off.
That's good. Sometimes you need a fresh start with that kind of thing. But,
I figured, I had bad juju in there, so I needed to take it off. So, how are things in Colorado? Any chemtrailing in Colorado?
Actually, they've been pretty sneaky here. They've been chemtrailing at night, and I talked about this because it's the first time I noticed it about 6 or 8 months ago. And during the day now, you don't really see the chemtrails anymore. You see them after they've dissipated. Today, we just had a whole sky full of little bitty chemtrail clouds. It was like, God, I don't even know how to explain it. It was a bunch of little bitty clouds all together throughout the entire sky. Some part of the sky was clear, though, I have to say. So it was in concentrated areas, but they are spraying, even though we're not really seeing it during the day.
You know, and one of the things that Alfred was talking about this weekend down at the Chemtrail Consciousness for Chemtrail Conference was, basically the whole thought process of the reason why they're chemtrailing is to hide this so-called binary sun, or the second sun that's moving in. But then as I, here it has been, I want to say literally it's been 78 days since I've seen a chemtrail.
Well, what are these chemtrails made of? They're made of barium and aluminum. We know that for a fact.
Right.
What does barium and aluminum do? It blocks radiation. I've theorized before that these chemtrails are actually there to block out radiation from the sun. We have had a tremendous amount of solar flares. I know on Saturday night when we did our shows, we were having problems with Skype, with our internet, with the server, with the stream. I mean, you name it. Every electronic was malfunctioning, not just on our end, but also I was on Mark Stevens' show. He was having Skype problems as well. And then we found out there were 7 solar flares that day. So these things are affecting us. So there could be, something going on as far as the radiation blocking goes, but I do know that they're poisoning us with these chemtrails as well. We recently had Michael Murphy on, and he talked about how these chemtrails are created for depopulation and weather control as well, and primarily by companies like Monsanto who want to cause artificial droughts so they can control the food market. If you control the food, you control the population.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, well, one of my dear friends in Wisconsin, actually, he's a farmer in Wisconsin, and he grows his own seed. He makes his own seed. And he literally got subpoenaed by Monsanto because some of the farmer next door had Monsanto seed, and it had spread over into his seed. And he was trying to explain it to me, but they literally came over and served him a subpoena saying that he had to cease and desist all growing because that the seed had mutated, his seed had mutated with their seed, so he basically has now a Monsanto seed.
Oh.
And so he was trying to explain it to me. I'm not, too savvy on the whole farming thing, but he's like, yeah, it came in like Men in Black. He said it was the weirdest thing ever. And now he's going through this huge lawsuit.
Wow.
Say that, this is my seed, even though yours, through the wind or whatever, it mutated into his, they're saying that, there's a patent.
Well,
Monsanto's got the patent on all seeds here in the United States.
Well, they're trying to claim ownership on pigs and saying that because they genetically engineered pigs, that a lot of the pigs out there can quite possibly be their genetic makeup.
Brand.
Their genetic brand, exactly. And so they're saying that now pigs are patented. These people have lost their mind.
Are you kidding me?
It should be the other way around. If your GMO garbage contaminates my organic crops, I should be able to sue you, not the other way around.
Right. And that's what. And he's like, I might have to give in to all this because I can't afford the lawsuit. He's like, it's like David and Goliath, and that's the way he explained it. He's like, I'm just David, and I have limited resources, and if I don't give in to what they're asking, it's almost like, like the mob rolling in. Like bully, the big bully.
Yeah, it's it's basically the food mafia.
Well, that's what government is, Donnie. Government is a mafia organization. They tell you pay us X amount of dollars every year, otherwise we're going to come and hurt you.
Oh, or throw you in jail.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what I mean by hurt you. Yeah, or physically hurt you and throw you in jail. But that's what the mafia did.
Didn't the mafia start the Better Business Bureau?
It's a beautiful day, so if you're heading out of town, it's time to get moving. Hey, boys, let's go for the bathroom.
What's going on here?
We're not stopping till we need gas. America's proposed new fuel.
Either I have a virus in my computer. All of a sudden, my whole computer will start like shooting out an ad.
You probably do. You need to just reinstall Windows and just wipe everything clean.
I've got. Well, I don't want to say I got pirated software on here, but I do. I got to do a clean install on this thing and redo the whole thing. It's just it runs slow as hell now. It's just plus the fan is gone. I just need to buy a whole new computer. That's like my main goal for the next couple months here is to get myself a brand new computer and use that.
Let me give you another example of how government is basically taking over businesses. I mean, or they're mafia, I should say. Al Capone started the Better Business Bureau so he can strong-arm small businesses. And now the Better Business Bureau, all they are is basically a private organization that has no authority, nothing like that. But what they do is they call businesses like my business and other businesses similar and demand extraordinary amounts of money. I mean, like thousands of dollars per year so they can have a really, really good rating. And if you don't go along with their agenda, then they'll just lower your rating down really low. I mean, I got to the point to where they lowered my rating down to an F. I had 0 complaints, no problems at all. All of my customers were happy, great reviews all over the internet, and they lowered my rating to an F because I wouldn't pay them. And when I threatened to sue them and sent them some paperwork with the threat to sue them, they raised it back to an A. But it goes to show on how they operate. What was the guy's name? Gambini. I forget what his first name is. But what he did is he took control of all of the docks, and then he created unions. And as he took control of all of the docks, he was able to control what came in and what goes out. And if people didn't do what he said, then he'll just shut down the docks, and nobody got any supplies, nobody got anything. Now we have government doing the exact same thing, total control of everything. They decide what comes in, what doesn't come in, artificial inflation, artificial scarcity. They regulate the gas prices, which isn't regulating at all. The actual legal definition of regulate is to I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's to ensure the unimpeded commerce of a certain industry. So if they were to regulate, for instance, food trade, they would ensure the unimpeded trade of that food. Instead, what they're doing now is the exact opposite. They're regulating, putting restrictions on it, the complete opposite of what the legal definition is. But the government is nothing but a mafia. They've learned from the best.
Well, we're getting to that point. It's scary almost. It's like, I was talking to this guy earlier because I'm trying to get my license back, and because I had a seizure a few years back, and I have to be a year seizure free. And finally, I'm a year seizure free. Today, I will actually be a year seizure free on my birthday. I'll be a year seizure free. So I called Minnesota and I said, well, what do I need to do to get my license back? Because here in Nevada, they won't give me my license because it's suspended in Minnesota. They're like, I have to pay an $800 reinstatement fee. I have to get all my doctor's certificates sent to Minnesota. I've got so much bullcrap that I got to go through just to get my driver's license.
Right. Exactly.
It's absolutely. It's like you're telling me that I need to do this for what?
Listen to this. I've got one better for you. My brother went to court recently, to eviction court. Now, he's living in a house that this woman basically stole from my mother while my mother was sick and all this, and my grandmother had just died, and this woman basically stole it out from under her. So what she did was extremely illegal, so we're suing the hell out of her and in dispute over the property of this house. Well, she files an eviction notice to try to get him out of there. He goes to court with this document called a lis pendens. A lis pendens is a document stating that there is an active lawsuit on this property and that nothing can be done as a result of this. So he's got these motions that I wrote up for him. He's got, all these questions to cross-examine the plaintiff. And the plaintiff shows up. It turns out that the house isn't even in her name. There's no lease on the property whatsoever. It's in her husband's name. Her husband wasn't there. And get this, the judge allows her to proceed on behalf of her husband, which is practicing law without a license. But not only that, but refuses my brother the right to enter anything into evidence or cross-examine the plaintiff. It gets even better than this. He tells my brother, if you don't like it, you can go right down the hall and file an appeal. So my brother's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to file an appeal. So he goes down the hall, files the appeal. They tell him to make all the money out, get this, to the judge. To the judge. Not to the county, not to the judge. Judge so-and-so is where all the money orders were to be directed. So he basically railroaded my brother, told him to go file an appeal. When he goes and files the appeal, all the money goes into the pocket of the judge. If that's not corruption, I don't know what is.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's legal?
No, it's extremely illegal, and we're going to try to have this judge disbarred, and we're going full force on this. We're already getting the appeal. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have a right to a fair trial. You have a right to the rules of civil procedure, which were completely broken. So, yeah.
That sounds really weird. Make out the money all the way to the name of the judge. I'd be like, whatever. I will sign it over to the city or whatever. I've never heard of such a thing like that, ever.
Right. Well, there was a gentleman. There's a gentleman that's going through divorce court. Now, he's a regular caller to your show, but I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he's spoken about this publicly. But he actually challenged the judge.
Caller to my show?
Yes, and caller to my show as well. But he actually challenged the judge on the fact that he gets paid out of the same fund that he was paying all the filing fees to. Now, during this process, the judge was ordering him to file this paperwork and that paperwork and this paperwork and that paperwork. That all came with a price tag. When he challenged the judge on this, he got a refund of all of his filing fees.
Really?
Yes. They freaked out and said, okay, we've got someone who can see. Now, of course, they railroaded him into. They gave a refund of all the filing fees. And this guy is sitting back and going, wait a minute, you already cashed these checks. You already cashed these money orders. No, this contract has already been written, done. You are liable for all of this. But in order to try to get themselves out of liability, they issue the refunds.
Wow.
This is Nazi America that we're living in. And it goes right back to where we're talking about. This is how the mob operates.
Have you ever seen that movie, Illuminati?
Is it Christopher Everart's film?
No. Who did Illuminati? Let me look up here. It came out in the early 2000s. Illuminati. Whoops, not 9/11. That would be Anthony J. Hilder. Are you familiar with him?
I'm sure Sheree is. The name sounds very, very familiar.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar to me as well, but I don't recall.
Free world, it goes, who benefits from the atrocity, Islam, Israel, or is those who wish to establish a new world order of smoldering ashes of American sovereignty? There's the great assault on the Bill of Rights and the last 100, Illuminati historian Jordan Maxwell, publisher Clayton Douglas. These are all the people that were involved in this. Gunderson and Anthony J. Hitler are calling these happenings. If you get a chance to watch this movie, it is absolutely phenomenal. Illuminati, and it really goes in. Well, one, it kind of the main focus of it is the 9/11 attacks. But the reason why they did this was to create this Nazi regime type of government. The reason why they did the September 11th attacks was to give us an excuse to have.
Well, of course. I mean, it was in their documents in 2000. Project for a New American Century talks about needing a Pearl Harbor event in order to bring in this legislation and this new world order that they're looking for.
Well, and that's what I think. I think the new world order is happening as we speak. I think we're already in it.
Right, and I think 9/11 was more like a traumatization, a mass traumatization to prepare the public for the new normal, which was going to be absolute chaos.
Well, Glenn Beck just recently came out. Let's see here. What did he say here? I'm going to quote him real quick here. Let's see if I can find it. Here's Glenn Beck right here. Glenn Beck goes, unstoppable economic collapse is imminent. The world has no engine of growth. Most of the G20 countries have reached a stalled growth. The only engine of growth in the United States is the stimulus package. The bankers have finally gotten their day. They have removed all competitors to their fiat currencies that surround the world. As the U.S. prints more, so will other countries. Other countries are forced to devalue their currencies in order to compete with our cheap currencies, goods and services. It's a race to the bottom. Eventually, all currencies will merge into one world currency. This is the central banker's ultimate goal, but a very difficult one to achieve, to say the least. Start buying gold and silver when the crash comes. Those who live in big cities get the fuck out. You don't want to be in the middle of riots, people killing each other over rations. Go into the countryside and wait it out. I mean, I don't know what, I'm like waiting for the next major ball to fall. But it just seems like it's also not happening. We've heard, we were talking about this on Saturday night's show. It just seems like it's a lot of fear-mongering, but nothing's really happening.
Well, you're right about that. Every year we hear about the economy crashing in October, November. We seem to have the same, what's the term? I don't even know what the term is, but we have these same stories just repeating themselves every year, every couple of years, suitcase nukes, other things like that.
Right.
But there is a little bit of truth to it in the fact that if we did have food riots, people wouldn't know how to handle themselves. You can just take a look at Black Friday and what happens on that day over Xboxes and video games and plastic crap, which people don't even need. It's just something people want. Imagine how people are going to act if it's a matter of something that they need.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what we have, I don't know what the statistics are, but I think a few people probably died during Black Friday during those stampedes into those stores to get the hottest toy.
They did. They ran over an old man, and everybody just stared. And it was one of the greeters at Walmart, and everybody just stared, walked over his body. It was a completely fucked up situation. Excuse my language, but that's the only thing that I can think of to say.
They just stared and walked over the guy's body?
Yes. They trampled him to death.
Right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even move out of the way for the paramedics to come and pick him up.
So they can get $20 off their Game Boys.
See, this is where our world is coming. It's becoming so materialistic. It's becoming so I don't care about anybody. It's the values that we are not only still. I mean, our children look at this, and that's and I really think, and I'm sorry if I got kids listening right now, but I think a lot of them are really freaking messed up in the head. I have to admit, when I was a teenager, I was a rebellious teenager, but man, nothing compared to what I see nowadays with kids. Nothing. They're rude. They think their poop don't stink. They think that the world owes them everything.
They're obnoxious and they're self-righteous, and their parents don't even have the balls to slap them in the mouth when they use foul language with their elders. because they're afraid CPS will come and take them away.
I was just about to say that. You can't even look at your child funny without CPS getting involved. Now, these kids, though, you got to think about how they're programmed. They're programmed, number one, thanks to the Rockefeller Foundation and the feminist movement, which they perpetrated in order to tax half of the population and get the kids in school at an earlier and earlier age. These kids don't know any other parents except for the state. And the state is teaching them that they're smarter than their parents, that their parents are living in the past, that they need to narc on their parents for, eco crimes, and if they have drugs in the house,
or
if they
guns.
use marijuana, or if they have guns, or any of that. And they're taught that they know so much more than their parents know. And so, of course, they're going to be little brats because they think
just what recently one of the new neuro-linguistic programming things for these kids during the Saturday morning cartoons. Guess what they're teaching them on the latest Scooby-Doo episode?
I have no idea. I can only imagine.
Nibiru.
Nice.
Latest Scooby-Doo episode that came out just recently talks about, they're sitting in the Mystery Machine and they're like, well, the Zacharias is in Nibiru. It's got this 36. They told the whole story. I'm like, there we go. There's programming for you right there. Perfect. Get the kids thinking about some disastrous planet that's going to come and kill us.
Well, I'm kind of on the fence with the whole Sitchin work because on one hand, the way that it's been presented and the research that I've done on the subject matter, it shows that, yes, there is, we were most likely genetically engineered by the Anunnaki, and there were two key players, Enlil and Enki, and Enki was the good one, or the benevolent one, for lack of a better term.
Just because you keep seeing the story over and over and over again throughout history in different societies.
Well, here's the thing, though. They claim that this is the New World Order religion, that this is what's taught in the mystery schools, and this is what's taught in the secret societies, that God is really the devil, and the devil is really God, and the good guy has been demonized by the one who is more prevalent in this world, and it makes me wonder, is this really a New World Order trap, or is this what the truth is? It's not the truth that makes them evil, I've always said, it's what they do with it. But I don't know, something to ponder for sure.
Well, I was looking back at an old book written by a gentleman, let's see if I can get his real name here, Franz Hartmann. Have you heard of him before? Dr. Franz Hartmann?
I believe so.
He was an author back in the 1800s. He's actually the co-founder of the OTO. And he wrote a book. Name
rings a bell. Okay.
He wrote a book called "The Life of Yeshua, the Prophet of Nazareth, an Occult Study and a Key to the Bible." And basically, and then it goes to underscore continuing the history of an initiate, and it's by Franz Hartmann. If you guys can get it, he's the author of a book called Magic, Secret Symbols of the Rosicrucians, and then it was released by the Boston Occult Publishing Company in 1889. And I was reading this, and it's actually kind of funny because it talks about Jesus Christ going through the mystery schools in Egypt. And it also talks about Jesus Christ kind of going through some Masonic type of ritual as well to gain his knowledge. And I was kind of shocked at it because I was thinking because I have seen pictures or stained glass windows in churches of Jesus actually holding the sign of a 32nd degree Mason.
In the Greek Orthodox Church in Houston, last time Sheree and I were there, we were looking at a stained glass mirror, and at the very top, there was a lot of symbolism to this. I should have taken pictures of it so I can analyze it later. I was in the middle of a funeral, and so I was really kind of just not really all focused, but this one thing stuck out. At the very top of it was the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. Not only was it there with the all-seeing eye, but it was a pyramid with the capstone disconnected.
And where was this? I'm sorry?
This was in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Really?
I was pointing out to Sheree, hey, check it out. Yeah.
Wow.
But it is known that Jesus was, that his parents were Essenes, that he was most likely taken to Egypt and other parts of the world to learn Buddhism, mysticism, the Egyptian mystery schools. So it makes me wonder, how, like I said, it takes me right back to the statement I just made ago. It's not the knowledge that makes them evil, it's what they do with it. Now, I would probably join one of these secret societies or whatever in order to get some of this knowledge. But the problem that I run into is that I don't want to be associated with any type of group. The gentleman that you had on Saturday, Salsa, or I don't remember what his name was.
Sleepy Salsa.
But he wanted us to join some kind of coalition of patriots or something like that. But even then, when you label yourself with a group, then you have to take everything that they teach, everything that they say, and represent yourself under that. I don't want to do that. I'm infinite consciousness, experiencing life as Chris Geo. I'm not part of any group.
Well, and that's one of the things that I'm actually putting together a show right now in regards to the rift that is happening within the Masons. We have a division right now that's happening within the Masonic organization, and it's been something that's been kind of going on for some time now. And one of the reasons why I've kind of pushed away from the Masonic world is because I didn't agree with some of the so-called agenda that the Masons partaked of. And there was, actually, I had Leo Zagami on the show, and, I actually kind of got in trouble from my own local, Masonic organization for having Leo on. They told me not to, and I said, screw you, I'm going to do it. And then I kind of got in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of heat over it. I mean, it's blown over since then. But I was like, you know what? You can't tell me who I can't. I'm not revealing any secrets of Masonry. Just because you don't like Leo Zagami doesn't mean that I can't have him on my own radio show. And you're going to try to dictate to me who I can have on my show and who I can't? No, that's not going to work.
I would probably be the type that I would reveal secrets unless I realized that those secrets were held secret in order to protect those who aren't disciplined enough to achieve that type of knowledge. But if it's hidden secrets to control others, then yes, I would definitely be a whistleblower.
Well, and this is where I get a little bit, because I'm a man of my word, and I took an oath. I did take an oath stating that I would never reveal the secrets of Masonry. Okay, that's fine. But I can definitely say, if you want to find out where the secrets of Masonry are, pretty much look on the internet. You can pretty much find anything you want. There's nothing really hit. There was one lady that actually shot me an email, and I had read this. It was based on the 32nd degree ritual, and it was so it was rewritten. I was like, I never partaked in this, I mean, it was rewritten. It was almost racist in a way, and it talked about segregation and all of this. And I don't know if it was written on an old ritual, by Albert Pike or whatever, but it was nothing that I was part of, because when I went through my 32nd degree, hell, there were Hispanics, there were Muslims, there were blacks, there was no segregation when I went through my 32nd degree, and so to me, it's the distortions are out there, and if I see something that's false, I'm going to say, bingo, No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to, sit here and read something that I know is false and not talk about it, and I'll read it. And that's what I did. I did that on a show, and I read a little bit about it. And I was, because there's just so much distortion within Masonry, but yet I did take an oath, and I took the ancient penalties. And if anybody wants to know what the ancient penalties are, all they have to do is go on the internet to find out what those are. But I took those, and the way I look at it, it's not that I'm scared that that's what's going to happen to me. No, it's just it's like a man giving his word, saying, hey, I'm not going to say anything, but you know what? If you want to find out about it, it's easy enough to find out about it. Really,
one of my clients,
One
of my clients in my day business. We got to talking, and he told me that he used to be a Mason, and he told me what the first 3 initiations are. And I don't know, would it be bad if I said it, since you're not the one saying it?
Well, I can tell what the first three initiations are, too. The first is your entered apprentice, your second is your telepath, and then the third is your master mason.
Well, yeah, but he explained to me the symbolism behind the 3 degrees.
Well, no, okay. Well, you know what?
Well, the first three, and I'm about
because I can confirm or deny if he's bullshitting or not.
Okay. The first 3 degrees of Freemasonry are a recreation of a murder which took place at Solomon's Temple, and you essentially die, and nothing can resurrect you except, if I remember correctly, the strong arm of the lion, and you are brought back to life after the 3rd degree. God, I should have written some of this down. I actually talked about it on one of the shows. I'm going to have to go and go back through my archives and look it up. It's a little foggy now, but basically that's the premise of it.
Well, guys in the chat room said they couldn't hear me. I had to fix my microphone, so I think you can all hear me better now. The 3rd degree is all based on, of course, that's history right there. I mean, you can watch the History Channel, and the History Channel will tell you exactly what the 3 degrees are. And during the 3rd degree, there is a reenactment of what happened to King Solomon. Well, what happened to King Solomon in history? What happened to him? He was killed, of course. And I'm not going to confirm or deny that we reenact that. But, if you want to learn, just watch anything called, watch The Secrets of Masonry on the History Channel that actually went into a Masonic lodge and they reenacted it. And the way I look at it, this is another thing. The way I look at it is that the History Channel had Masonic men from the Scottish Rite of Washington, D.C., participating in this History Channel movie or a documentary confirming these things. Well, they just broke the oath.
But the ultimate secret of Masonry, and I know you can't confirm or deny any of this, is the knowledge that Lucifer is the good guy and that the gods of religion are the bad guys. So this was his reasoning for leaving Freemasonry, because he didn't want to get he couldn't be a Christian and be a Freemason at the same time, so he ditched the Freemasonry so he can be a Christian.
Well, and I think that's where the division is. And of course, I can't confirm or deny it, but I don't agree with the whole Lucifer thought process. That might what I've experienced there's nothing that I've ever saw that said anything about Luciferianism within Masonry. Of course, I'm not a 33 degree Mason. However, I am very dear friends with Zagami, who is a 33 and a 98th degree Memphis Mizraim Mason, one of the highest degrees that you can get in the Memphis Mizraim. And Leo and I have had intense conversations in regards to this, and both Leo and I are devout Christian. Well, he's pretty much a Catholic, and me, I would consider myself a Gnostic Christian, or I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I hate it's like labeling. It's going back to the whole labeling thing. It's like I hate being labeled as a Christian, because I really kind of despise Christians, because a lot of Christians I've met are real assholes.
No, I know. I totally agree with you. A lot of them are reptilian. You can see it in their eyes.
There's one today.
Yeah.
Tell them about the lady we met today.
Yeah, we met somebody today, and she was the nicest person in the world, but I could just tell in the eyes and the slithering in her voice, she was a reptilian. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've met so many. I mean, I think I've told this story before, but I was in my Bible group, because I used to be part of a non-denominational church, big mega church in Minnesota. I was really involved in the church. I was always running the soundboard, doing the video. It was a rock and roll church. Loved the church, participated in worship service, all of that stuff. And, of course, every week I'd be part of this Bible study. And it was, it was 2 years I went on before I really revealed some very important, deep, dark issues that I wanted to reveal to my group. And I told my group that, and they basically ostracized me from the group after I told them, because they said it was too much for them to handle. I'm like, what kind of frickin' Christians are you? Because I tell you something now, I've been your friend for 2 years. I've heard, I've hung out with you guys, and now I tell you something that's very deep and dark, and now you don't want anything to do with me? Give me a frickin' break.
Well, most of the Christians that you meet nowadays are the Joel Osteen type of brand. They want to be Christians until it's hard or uncomfortable, and then they don't want to be Christians anymore. All of a sudden, they want to turn into assholes.
Oh yeah, if it doesn't agree with their philosophies or their agenda, then you're not part of the clique. And I have never, and the same thing happened with me in the Masonic arena. If I didn't follow down, I remember, one of my, you can call them in the hierarchy of the Templars, telling me, Donnie, why don't you just get in line, become an officer, move up the ranks, and then, doors will open for you. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I thought we were all supposed to be. One of the things about being a Mason is being on the level. It's everybody. Whoever you are, whatever you are. I don't care if you're president of the United States or a CEO of a company. The minute you walk into a lodge, we're all on the level. We're all the same. And I'm like sitting here. I'm like, and why do I have to follow down your agenda? I thought this was about spiritual enlightenment.
Let me make this example. There's a prison group I was watching a documentary on called the Aryan Brotherhood. And you can watch this on Netflix. The Aryan Brotherhood is led by two guys that are Jewish. I kid you not, they're Jews. And so a whistleblower in the group who was in protective custody, and they were talking about murdering some wives and somebody's wife and kids, and he was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. And that's when he flipped. But he came out and he admitted and said, look, this whole neo-Nazi stuff and this whole racist stuff, that's a small part of it. But what it's really about is controlling, commodities that come in and out of prison. It's about controlling the money, not actually physical cash. I mean, sometimes in that sense too, but mostly like the drugs and the contraband and things like that come in and out. He says that they use the neo-Nazi philosophy just as a way to recruit the young kids. I think the same type of thinking can be applied to Masonry or any other group as well. It's more of, these ideas that you hear about being a good person and this and that, that's how they lure a lot of people in. But once you get deep inside of it, at least in some lodges, maybe not necessarily in your experience, but in some lodges, then you find out the true agenda later on down the line.
Well, I almost laughed. I almost died of laughter when I heard from a Masonic brother in my own lodge thought that I was spreading the word that some of them were Satanists and that they worship Satan. And I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? How the hell am I, saying this? And it's like, well, we heard this. I'm like, so you guys didn't come and approach me and ask me about this? I'm here in Nevada. How the hell am I going to be? And why would I be talking about you guys? There's no reason for me to be talking about you guys. But it's like it just irritates me and irks me that it's almost like the good old boys club. And it's so cliquey. It irritates me. But yet there's a lot of great Masonic brothers, and I'm proud to call myself a Mason. I really am. However, I'm just so sick and tired of this. One of the things that we talked about on Saturday's show was this intervolcanization. This interfighting that's going on because there's a division. Because of course there's going to be, because my Christian Masonic brothers, one of my Christian Masonic brothers is a avid listener. He's out of Texas right now. He's probably listening to the show right now. And he said, you know what, Donnie? If we were lied to by the Masonic organization about Christ or anything in regards to that, and we find out that there's something deeper and darker in their agenda, I tell you, we're out. We're off. We're gone. And I'm like, I said the same thing. I said, you know what? If there is something really deep and dark that I will walk away from Masonry, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, you know. But from what I have seen thus far as a Mason, I haven't seen anything to you know. I know there's members that are, and that's why I wanted to talk about the OTO. We're going to take a quick break here, real quick. You know, that are members that are part of the OTO and other offshoots of Masonry that are, I believe, satanic, and I think that's where the confusion comes. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick break here at the top of the hour here, guys. You guys are listening to 32 Degrees of Insanity right here on FreedomizerRadio.com. If you want to give a call in, tonight we've got Chris Geo and Sheree of TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Of course, they do their show every Friday and Saturday night. Of course, I follow their show on Saturday nights from 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time going till 11 midnight. We went into overdrive last week, so it was absolutely a great show. You can always turn into Truth Frequency Radio or TruthFrequency.com to get into the archives of their shows as well. They had some great guests over the weekend. Definitely would love you guys to tune into that. So we'll be back with Chris and Sheree right here on FreedomizerRadio.com.
You know the Constitution like the back of your hand. You've read books, listened to podcasts, attended lectures, surfed websites, and watched videos. You've made liberty your life's goal, but something seems to be missing. Stickers from LibertyStickers.com. Exercise your freedom of speech with the world's most dangerous bumper stickers. That's LibertyStickers.com. But wait, there's more. You can buy Liberty Stickers wholesale. Get them for 99 cents each when you put 100 or more in your shopping cart in any combination. Sell them or give them away. They're great for gun shows, flea markets, fairs, outreach, and more. Earn extra money, promote freedom, and spread the word. Need custom stickers, labels, or decals for your organization or business? Liberty Stickers makes them. Go to LibertyStickers.com to order or call 877-873-9626. LibertyStickers.com, the world's most dangerous stickers.
There's a saying that the only thing certain in life is death and taxes. Well, they should include hard drive failure as well. You can ensure your data is safe by using Maximum Archive's online backup solution. By securely backing up the Maximum Archive servers, your data is protected from fire, theft, or simple hard disk failure. Don't let your data go unprotected. Sign up for Maximum Archive today. Use partner code FREEDOMIZER at checkout time and help fund the Freedomizer Radio Network. That's MaximumArchive.com.
Want to spread awareness to your neighbors, family, and friends about what is going on in our country today? It may be things you already know, like the large number of FEMA camps spread around this country to lock up citizens like you and me. What legislators are doing to strip states and people of their sovereign rights. Or legislation giving states the power to force vaccinate under a declared state of emergency. Do your neighbors understand what is going on? William Lewis Films offers the perfect tools to inform our population about this government's tyrannical shift from a constitutional republic to a despotic democracy. Films like 911 Ripple Effect, Beyond Treason, One Nation Under Siege, Washington You're Fired, Camp FEMA, Enemy of the State, Don't Tread on Me, Blood of Patriots, The Ron Paul Uprising, even 911 in Plain Sight, William's first production, are all available at WilliamLewisFilms.com. Get your DVDs today at WilliamLewisFilms.com. Educate against the police state.
Ava Kihati in Reno, what are you doing on Freedomizer Radio on Thursdays 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Fridays at 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time?
And I am going to be hosting the Heated Conversation.
Please join us as we talk about UFOs, weather, planets, asteroids, earthquakes, spirituality, HAARP, secret societies, and current events. I think we should add that we always have great guests, a packed chat room, and very interesting conversations, with your occasional quirky way we give the news.
Just remember, on Thursdays at 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Fridays 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, The Heated Conversation. Oh, and by the way, we have our always fun chat room at freedomizerradio.com. That's freedomizerradio.com. Just click the chat and listen button. See you there.
Radio listeners, you all know that the reason for global cooling is global warming. Well, we here at Lake Havasu Snow Removal want to remind everyone that we can plow your driveway or street 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We are available in the Lake Havasu, Phoenix, and soon-to-be Tucson areas in the cold Arizona desert. So, if your driveway is backed up in the middle of April or in the frozen tundra season of August, please call 855-NO-AZ-SNOW today. Any time of day, any time of night, Lake Havasu Snow Removal will clear your driveway in freezing cold tundra of Arizona. Thank you.
All right, we're back here, 10:01 in the PM, 8/20/2012. We are less than 2 hours away from Donnie turning 43 years old. Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. Oh, God. Oh, I feel like I'm getting old. Anyways, guys, we're back here with Truth Frequency Radio. Actually, with Chris and Sheree of Truth Frequency Radio are joining me on my show tonight. We've been kind of talking in the last hour. We've kind of been all over the board. You know, we kind of started off with chemtrails, UFO technology, Luciferianism, Masonic orders, secrets of the Brotherhood, OTO, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, the devil, all kinds of weird stuff. Some people have actually said, and we've talked about a little bit about politics as well. And somebody actually in the chat room said, Donnie Gillson talking about politics. What happened to Donnie and him talking about the universe? Well, I think this all has everything to do with the universe, guys. Everything that's happening around you is your reality. We all are partaking in this so-called matrix together. But how do we decipher what is reality, what is truth, and what is distortion? What we've been programmed to understand. These are things that we have to start thinking about as we start heading towards the end of this so-called Mayan calendar. As I've told you before, we have two choices. We have a choice to go down the path of love, or we can go down the path of destruction. But however, with going down that path of love, we're still going to experience sorrow. We're still going to experience negativity. These are all the experiences that we take place here as a human being. Imagine how boring it would be if we didn't have those experiences. So what I think is actually going to happen as we ascend in consciousness is that we're going to feel deeper and deeper and deeper understanding of what our own soul is. Actually, just recently, one of my old mentors who runs an apostle school that I was a part of a few years back, she has changed her complete attitude on her thoughts of how she was teaching. And that the way she was teaching was a falsity, was false. That she was a liar and a deceiver. She has changed her thoughts because now she understands that Christ is within you, not some external God you're looking to. That the altar of Christ is within all of us. And the goodness is within all of us. That's what Christ taught us. But yet the only way I feel, the only way that we can move on once we get past this life is through death. The Egyptians talked about it. The Tibetans talked about it in their books. We're starting to understand it more and more, that what we experience here on this planet, on this world, is a plan that we had with God. Now, I know we're going to have trials and tribulations, because not only are we have to experience it to grow, but God has put these players, these so-called avatars, in our reality here to help us grow. So even though that we might have these evildoers out there, or these programmers out there, the reason why we have them out there is for us to learn. We have designed, as a collective consciousness, have designed this matrix. What's your thoughts on this, Chris and Sheree?
Well, the thing about reality is we all play a part in it collectively. Yeah. And until we take responsibility for the part that we play in it, nothing will change, because it's up to it's an individual thing.
And that's true. We all have to take responsibility for our own actions. We have to. As I've always said to everybody, nobody can save you but yourself. And we could blame it on, we were programmed this way, or we were, this is the way we're. Well, once we start learning the truth and start to awaken, then it's our responsibility at that point in time, to not shift blame on the people that did it to us, but to take the blame and put it back on our own selves and say, you know what, I'm not going to live that way anymore, and I'm not going to think that way anymore, and I'm going to change my own reality.
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying, oh, you know what, they got me. Yep, yeah. They take their drugs for a while. They really pulled a fast one on me, but not anymore. It's one thing to say that, and then another thing entirely to say, well, yeah, I know it's bad, but I'm going to keep my kid on this ADHD medicine because he's really, really good when he's on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's selfishness right there.
Right. I actually have a member of my family that's like that. That seriously believes that there is a legitimate purpose in keeping a child on medication that's going to stunt his growth and stunt his brain growth as well. They found dopamine receptors in kids that were on ADHD meds for longer than 5 years ended up having a smaller amount of dopamine receptors in their brain that worked. And so, I mean, that's worth having your kid be a little bit quieter? Really?
Yeah, it's, and these drugs, these pharmaceutical companies are modern-day drug pushers. They are. Even the doctors out there are, especially clinical psychologists, are drug pushers. I mean, they had me on this one thing I remember back in the early 2000s. It was called Seroquel. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yep, Seroquel. I'm very familiar with it.
My God, that thing. One, I remember I was dating this girl at the time. Her name was Deb, and she said whenever I would take it at night, because I couldn't fall asleep, and then if I took it, it would knock me out. But she said I would turn into this zombie type state.
Right.
She would watch. It was like a transformation in me. I would turn to from normal Donnie talking away, blah blah blah, and to this zombie state, and then all of a sudden I'm like, nothing's there, and I can remember, taking that crap, and it was the worst thing I ever took from my body. And it took me so long. It took like a year before I actually felt like it was actually out of my system.
Mhm. Yeah, medications like that, people really don't understand the spiritual context, along with the physical, because it's important to realize that you are chemically changing something inside the most amazing and complex organ that this planet has ever been able to create.
Well,
I mean, you're messing with the only thing that you have, literally.
Well, we talked about, now they're coming up with these, we talked about this on Saturday, these so-called chemical enhancing implants that we can put into our brain to make us think faster or become better aware. I mean, I think that's another way of messing with what we've been given. We're almost trying to play God, better than God.
Well, it's worse than that. We're trying to compete with each other and be gods at the same time. And that didn't turn out so well for the Olympians.
Oh, no.
I mean, like the gods on Mount Olympus. It didn't turn out too well for them in the end. I mean, they're obviously not around anymore.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies as a kid was Clash of the Titans. Remember the original one? Did you ever watch that movie?
No, I didn't. Chris probably did.
If you could watch the original, and not the remake, not the remake, but the original Clash of the Titans, it really, it talks about the we had Hercules, who was, the son of Zeus, right? Hercules, son of Zeus, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the conflict that the gods were having, because Zeus wanted his son to have, a normal life, basically, but yet all the other gods thought, well, he's demigod, so he needs to do these things. He's got to go and walk this path. And the conflict that would happen within all these gods because they thought they knew what the best thing for that person or for what Hercules was. And we do that with everybody. Or Perseus.
Right.
It was Perseus, yeah.
First it extended to our own children, but now with this global kind of society where everybody's raising everybody else's kids and all of this is going on, we do it with everybody. We literally will walk into a store, and if we see something that somebody else is doing that we don't think they should be doing, then what is it about the last 10 years that made people go, you know what, I don't think that's right that you're doing that? What business is it of yours?
Right.
We think everybody's business is our business now.
Oh yeah, and the governments themselves are totally getting involved in everybody's business. I mean, it's a dictatorship, especially with the children today. I look back at when I was a kid, at least we were talking a little earlier in the first hour about kids today that get spanked. Well, a parent is scared to death to spank a child because the child can turn around to Child Protection Services, CPS, and say, my mom and dad abused me, and they get involved, government gets involved, the government starts dictating to the parents what they can and cannot do with that child, even though that child might be way out of line. But back in our day, especially back in like the, in this, I can remember in grade school, my sixth grade teacher, Mr. Cooper, I'll never forget him. I love that guy. Still to this day, love him. But he used to hit us with a ruler if we got out of line.
Oh, it was a paddle. It was a paddle. It was about half an inch thick, and it had holes in it. And I was 5 or 6 when I got paddled the first time. And then after that, it was paddling probably every 3 months or so. And it was only whenever I would get out of hand, apparently. And I look back, though, and I think, well, they probably shouldn't have done that at school, just because I don't believe in people spanking other people's kids. But I think that's like a private thing that the parents should handle on their own. But I do think that parents need to spank their kids sometimes. If you don't, they will be spoiled. They will not get along with other people, and they'll be a dick when they grow up and not get along with others and be incredibly unhappy anyway. So you might as well just get out the belt and spank them.
Oh, I remember, I was raised by my grandparents when I was younger, and I remember my Uncle Bill, my mom's husband, he got so pissed off at me. I don't remember, something my sister and I did. And I remember we came back home, and he had that belt. He was like one of those Elvis guys, so he had the belt buckle, those big ass cowboy belt buckles. And he had that thing waiting for us. And I turned to him, I go, "You can't spank me. I'm going to tell my grandpa on you." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And he goes and calls my grandpa on the phone. And he's like, "Is it all right if I give this kid a little bit of a licking, because this is what he did?" And my grandpa goes, "You got all the authority in the world. Go right ahead." And I heard that coming from my grandpa. I'm like, "Oh, shit." Because my grandpa didn't believe in physical, but he, my grandma, I can remember, when my grandpa died, my grandma, if I got out of line, she just had the older kids in the neighborhood take care of me.
One time, Chris said something to his mom that she really, really didn't like it. She whipped him good. He was he was 14 and he still ended up with bruises. So parents not getting mad at their kids and not correcting them is only going to lead to more and more problems.
I think it's if you look back in time, kids were you look back at the earliest 1800s, early 1900s, children back then were proper. They had respect for their elders. They had especially anybody 60 plus. Yes sir, no ma'am.
Right. You told them to do something. They didn't say, "I'm tired," and
Yeah, no back talk, none of that crap. And now it's like, who are you to tell me what to do?
I heard a 2-year-old tell her mother "F you" the other day.
Oh God.
I'm thinking, what are they saying in front of this kid every other time of the day to make her think it's okay to say that, especially to your own mother? I don't know. I just don't. I don't see much unity in family units. I don't see as much love or understanding or compassion in the families as there used to be.
I blame it. I hate to put blame on things, but I blame it on the system. I really do. The system has turned into this Gestapo that parents are just scared to death. Having a child, I wouldn't have a child in this world right now if you paid me. I would not want to bring a child into this world. Because one, there's no chance that child is going to. I don't believe. I believe it would be a struggle for that child to prosper. Even the kids today, are not going to have the prosperity that even we had. We talked about prosperity a little bit on Saturday. It's like, I look at what my grandfather had. He prospered. Did real well, had a house and all that good stuff, and the white picket fence. Literally, we had a white picket fence, and the perfect family. You had one child, my dad. And he raised my dad the best he could. And then my dad, went through his prosperity. My grandma made sure that he, went through the sheriff's department, did his retirement, 35 years. And here I sit here and I'm like, man, I don't have crap now. I'm just, the opportunities that were available to my grandfather and my dad and my grandmother are nowhere near as what they had. I don't have the opportunities that they had, and I don't see children today having the opportunities that even I have.
No, it's going to be even worse for them. And I have an 8-year-old, and I think all the time about his future and what it's going to look like, what the world will look like, just him walking down the street. And I wonder if he'll be able to walk down the street. Honestly, I wonder if our communications and our ability to move around and to be mobile is going to be so restricted by then that we're basically living in little prison cities, and we are designated to a job as soon as we turn 18 and just this Brave New World scenario. And so that's why I've been trying to get him into space camps and other things like that, because I want him to have the best possible outcome in this brave new world.
Your kid's down in Texas, right? Your kid's down in Texas, right? Yeah, space camp down there, right?
Yes, they do. I believe in him. They do. And I mean, he's only 8, but he's really smart. He's really smart, just like me, and he'll do well if he's given the opportunity to do well. And so I try to give that to him, but me and Chris have talked about having kids, and I don't think we're going to have any. I mean, just as it stands right now, just getting from here to the, through the delivery and all of that without having to go see doctors, without going to a hospital of any kind, and without registering the baby with a birth certificate and all of that, is going to be so difficult.
It absolutely is. It's to the point right now, and we have such uncertainty in the world. Right now we are like all in a flux, and it's the programming that we have had right now. We've been programmed now for the last 10 years of the Mayan calendar. It really kind of came to the flux. So for the past 10 years, everybody's been on this, what's going to happen here in 2012? What's going to happen? Some people are on the fence, nothing's going to happen. Some are saying something major is going to happen, catastrophe, and all of this stuff. And we've got children that are now listening to this stuff and, are questioning all of this. Really, what kind of future do I have? If all of this is going to end on December 21st, 2012, well, why should I give a shit anymore? And I think a lot of people are starting to throw their hands up in the air. Like, I saw this recent video, was talking about my particular video, and the guy was saying that, showing that orb or UFO that was down in New Mars Station, and the guy's like, you know what, I'm preparing myself to die. It's all over. It seems like some people are just throwing in the towel already when we have no clue what is going to happen. We have no clue. I believe we should all be spiritually aware and spiritually minded to be ready to go at any point in time, but yet no one knows, and some people are actually throwing in the towel and are spreading this nonsense.
Well, and if you really want to think about it, the biggest event of the century did happen. March 11th, 2011, Fukushima. It happened.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to know what the real effects are for a couple of years. And it's not going to. Eventually, our grandkids are going to ask us, "Hey, Grandpa, hey, Grandma, where were you when Fukushima happened? What did the government tell you about it?"
Right.
We're going to have to tell them, "Oh, we're so focused on a fake asteroid about to hit the planet that nobody cared."
Well, in the next year we'll be having all of the debris coming into the West Coast. We don't know how that's going to affect the coastline here in the United States. That's going to be coming in the next year, or it could come even sooner. They say some of the debris is already here. And, I remember seeing the footage of that, like 2-mile-long island of debris out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty intense, Imagine having to scour into that stuff. But, we don't know what the radiation levels are. I just recently saw some film out at Fukushima. I was a little shocked at what I saw. It was all of a sudden I saw this lightning kind of stuff behind Fukushima, and it was all red. The skies turned red. And I'm like, could that be the radiation in the clouds?
Yeah, it quite possibly could be. Radiation does weird things when it reacts with the atmosphere, when it reacts with body tissue. It just seems to really break down everything. It destroys DNA. It seems to be like poison to pretty much everything it touches.
That's an interesting thing that you just stated there. It destroys DNA. Matt, if we have are going through this awakening right now where our DNA is supposed to be evolving, what would be the greatest way to stop that evolution than throw radiation out in the atmosphere? Right. Mm-hmm. Perfect way to stop it. We're heading down, the lines of people are, starting, their minds are becoming very similar to those of the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. Oh, we're going to stop that right now. We're just going to, instead of shooting off a nuke. And here's another thing. How much nuclear testing do we do in our own oceans? We do so much nuclear testing in our oceans.
I'm sure a lot, but according to that nuclear non-proliferation treaty, they're not supposed to do any or the nuclear testing ban, right? They're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, the testing ban. We're not supposed to do it, but we've seen recent video, down in the Gulf where they've been doing it. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video of the naval ships that were out in this area, and all of a sudden you saw this huge explosion. It looked like a huge tidal wave, and it was a nuclear. They were blowing something up underneath the water. But we're seeing, and I've got some callers here. I'm going to bring them on too. I see we got 646-469-701, an unknown, and a 480. We'll bring you on here in a second, so stick around, guys. We're seeing, like for instance, we're seeing fish that just look abnormal. Recently, in New Jersey, a runner saw some sort of monster type of creature wash up underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. We're seeing these type of weird kind of mutated type of things that are, going into our oceans. Could it be something drowned in the ocean and the water itself, as it mutated, as it saturated in the water, it actually mutated and then turned into something different? That's what I'm thinking is what these things are that are washing up on the waters.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you seen the butterflies near Fukushima?
No, I haven't. What's going on with the
bad
butterflies?
These butterflies, they're all mutated, just like the shrimp out in the Gulf. I mean, except this is Fukushima related, and they're being born with all these horrible mutations, and it's terrible. It's just a sign of things to come, really, because you can ask the people at Chernobyl. They weren't really told much either, and look what happened to them. They don't even have proper facilities over there to take care of all the kids that end up being born with thyroid dysfunction and thyroid cancer, and they end up having to do surgeries without anesthesia over there.
Well, my thyroid's completely burnt out. And so I don't have that protectiveness anymore. With the thyroid burnt out, I've got hypothyroidism, and the thyroid's a key protector too, isn't it? I mean,
yes, it is. I have a friend whose son has. I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but he's had a lot of behavioral problems.
Oh well, the thyroid's like your thermostat, man. It's if your thyroid's gone, you are going to have emotional, ups and downs. It almost masks itself as almost a bipolarish type of mood swings, because if your thyroid is not, in balance, you're going to have, major drastic emotional mood swings. And if I don't take my Synthroid every day, and I take Synthroid every single day, and that keeps me in balance. If I didn't take that, I don't know what I'd be like, because I tried taking a pig hormone before. I've tried to take natural supplements. Nothing ever works, but for some reason the Synthroid, which I don't like taking any pharmaceuticals, it replaces the thyroid. And so it seems to be doing its job. I see a 469 area code person here. I've never seen this number before. 469, welcome to the show. Hello? 469 area code.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is John B. from Texas.
Hi, John B. from Texas. What part of Texas are you from?
I'm in just outside of Dallas, about 35 miles northeast of Dallas, Texas.
Uh-huh. Did you have a question for us today? Do you want to participate in the conversation? Hello? Looks like we lost him. All right. Oh, Kevin's on. Kevin's here. Kevin.
Hey, Donnie. Hey, Sheree.
Hey, how are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. And yourself?
Doing good.
We've kind of been all over the board tonight on different subjects. Tonight I had no clue what I really wanted to do tonight, so it's just kind of been a throw it out there and see if it sticks type of night. So.
Right, I was just going to say that it's kind of a smorgasbord of topics this evening. One thing I wanted to share, and forgive me for the spoiler, but it's not really too much. The new Bourne movie that came out this last weekend, I enjoyed the books, and so a friend wanted to see it, and so I went to go listen to it, but total genetic manipulation by the government to veterans. Sorry, I got a street cleaner going outside my window right now. But total genetic manipulation by our government, RFID tracking, and data mining are rampant throughout this movie.
And it followed through the Bourne Identity. That's the new one, right? What's it called? The Bourne Identity.
I think it was called the Bourne Ultimatum or something like that. It's the newest Bourne, but it talks all about the secret government ops, and it was really interesting when the general public found out about an op. They had to scrub it, and all of a sudden you see a doctor in a facility just kind of go bat crazy and start killing everybody in the building. So it also discusses behavior modification and mind control. So it was really interesting to see all of the symbolism that they were shoving in our face. But
the movies are just another form of, we've been talking about this, neuro-linguistic programming, this programming that's happening throughout the world, and movies are a great example of that programming.
Oh, absolutely. And especially, I am trying to do a little bit of research on 3D movies now, because I remember back in '98 coming across information about how just by having pixels in a certain pattern on your screen flashing can actually be part of behavior modification. And I imagine now that even with the three-dimensional imaging, that they're probably even able to go on a deeper scope of this type of manipulation.
I always think it's funny, whenever I see videos about me on YouTube, and there's a recent video out there right now saying that I'm actually conditioning people out there, changing from the word Nibiru to Herculobus, and that I'm doing some neuro-linguistic programming now to all my listeners, that I'm controlling your minds and bringing you down my Masonic agenda. Oh, the evil I am Dr. Evil.
Well, I also think, Sheree, with her beautiful voice when she's singing, is actually doing behavior modification and manipulation.
That's right. If you play it backwards, it says submit to the New World Order.
It doesn't say Satan loves you, Satan loves you.
It sounds like Satan for some reason.
Did you see that video that I sent Chris?
No, I didn't.
Sheree. I shot him this video, and talking about programming, there is this this trippy video out. I'm going to put it in the chat room, guys, for you to take a look at. It was on a NBC affiliate out of, I'm not sure where it was, but it was right before, it was during a late night with Jimmy Fallon, and as it was segueing out of late night with Jimmy Fallon into the weather report, you see this weird, creepy devil, and he looks like this. And I have never seen this figure in any movies before. I just shot it back in Chris's, and I'll put it in your Skype, Sheree.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and it's just this really trippy, weird video, and and what it was doing there, probably it was some sort of as the the editor was probably was watching a movie or something on one screen, and he's like, "Oops, wrong one," to where he pulled the knob, but still, it was just we still have this whole thought process that the underlining problem that we have is that the boogeyman or the devil is running the show, and I don't think that's true at all. I don't think the devil's running the show. The devil's a joke. If we give evil power, if we give it that power, then yeah, we're the joke because we gave it that power.
Well, I mean, if you ask the Eastern religions, and also to some extent the Native Americans too, they all believe that the devil, or that devil on your shoulder that tells you that you should do bad things, that's really just a metaphor for the higher and lower brain. The lower brain, the cerebellum and other features, are the reptilian brain. They're the selfish brain. They're the just eating to survive, just having sex to survive, just having just doing whatever you need to do to survive, even if it means hurting other people. And that's the devil. The devil is the lower brain. And what we have to do is go into the higher brain. Yeah. We have to go into the higher vibrations, the higher brain, the cerebral cortex, where all the higher thinking processes are that the animals don't have. They don't have those higher abilities like we do.
Yeah, one of the things that I find funny is, I always think of this, that, you remember the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven? Remember that movie?
That was one of my favorite movies.
But it's funny. How about where's Doggy Hell? You never hear about Doggy Hell, but you'll hear about Doggy Heaven or Animal Heaven, and all the animals go to heaven. And none of these animals go to hell. And here's the wildest thing about it is animals are the most vicious predatory things. I mean, there's murder going on all the time, even in the universe. If we think about it in a cosmic, think of a black hole, for instance. A black hole is the biggest murderer out of the galaxy. That thing will come in like a thief in the night and steal away stars and kill them and absorb. And when you hear these stars, I don't know if you've ever heard, they actually have sound now of a star being swallowed up by a black hole, and it sounds like the most crazy screech you've ever heard.
It's a blood. Yeah.
It's like curdling, blood curdling. And it's like
supposed to hear that. Like, oh my God, is it in pain or what kind of sound is this? Yeah,
well, we actually don't know if by going through a black hole if it has experienced a death or anything.
Well, all we have is theory on what happens to a black hole. I love it how everybody thinks that everybody knows exactly what happens when you go through a black hole. Well, we can't be heading towards a black hole because, blah, 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 blah. Name one person in this world that has ever experienced a black hole. Nobody. And nobody knows what's on the other end of a black hole. We can theorize it, but we have no clue. And, some black holes, I think, are possible, are wormholes that are just another entrance to another dimension, or a different galaxy, or a different galactic plane, we could call it.
Oh, speaking about space, Donnie, have you ever seen the documentary called Earth Under Fire?
I think that sounds very familiar to me, but refresh my memory on what it's about.
It's Paul Lillevette. I'm totally butchering his name, but it talks about the galactic center every periodically or grand cycle emitting huge electromagnetic storms.
Oh yeah, well that's what we're heading into. That's what they're talking about. I mean, that's mainstream media right now. As we enter into this galactic center, that we're heading towards this dark, they call it the rift here. I mean, right now we are, from August until December, we are heading down the ecliptic right now, and we are heading towards that rift. There is no stopping it. And we are going to enter the photon belt. We are going to enter this debris field. What that brings us, I have no clue. And that's why earlier when I was talking on the show about chemtrails, I wanted to bring up a very interesting point. There is now information that the elites are getting off of this planet already. And one of the reasons why I was talking about chemtrailing earlier is the possibility that these chemtrails were not actually chemtrail planes themselves, but they are time travel technologies, or they are UFO technologies to get these elites off of this planet. Because, what was the last time we heard about any of the Rockefellers around?
Right. Well,
we know one of the Rockefellers just died, the head honcho. But other than that, where's the Rockefeller family? The last time I heard was right before Fukushima. They were in some island in India.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last I heard of them. Any kind of news.
And they could very well be around by now. We don't know. See, that's the thing. We have no idea where they are, but they want to know where all 8 billion of us are at all times.
Yep.
That's how sick it is. We're not allowed to confront them. We're not allowed to put them in jail. We're not allowed to put them on trial for everything that they've done. But we get to keep paying them with our blood, our time, everything that we have.
That 469 area code is back here. I'm going to bring him on. 469 from Texas. Welcome back.
Donnie?
Yeah, what's going on?
Let me take your speaker. First, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I want to thank you for the fantastic information that you provided over the years here on Freedomizer Radio and on Truth Frequency Radio. And I just would like to know your opinion on what you think of.
What I think of what? You broke up. I didn't get that. You did you guys get that at all? I didn't hear it.
No.
All right.
I didn't hear it.
Dave Kelso's on. I didn't even realize. Kelso, what's up? I didn't even realize. Is this you, Dave?
Hello, Kermit the Frog here, and this is the Masonic agenda of Donnie to program your soul. Sponsored by the Illuminati. Yeah, it's me. What's up?
Hey, I didn't realize that was you. Your number came up as 00123456.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Skype does when you make an outbound Skype call. It just, it does that.
Oh, usually it shows up on our board as 111111, but interesting enough. So welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm calling in through Skype. Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've been doing some catch up on your shows lately, as we discussed earlier, and a lot of the focus has been dealing with ego and letting go of ego and value in all experience and shifting to positive timelines and so on and so forth. My friend Katerina Edwards has been successfully doing a lot of that in her life. She's 19, almost 20. She's, I guess, what some people would call a crystal kid, if you want to use that label. But she is absolutely amazing. In less than a year, she's done a complete 180 on her paradigm. She is a big, huge, long story, but needless to say, she's just been rocking hard with the paradigm shift, and I would like to bring her on. I would like to link her into this and bring her on, and if it's okay with you, I would like her to share some of her wisdom and experience and all that in this, because I'd like to put a positive spin on this positive timeline stuff and, you know, get her on to say, hey, you know, positive timelines are possible, and I'm proof. Look what I've done.
Sure. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break here. We're at 10:45 in the p.m. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back at the top of the hour, about 5 minutes from the top of the hour, and then we'll just finish it off the last hour nonstop. We'll bring her on, and we'll all just kind of have an open roundtable. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Cool. Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll be back here at 32 Degrees of Insanity right here on freedomizerradio.com. If you'd like to give us a call in and join the last hour roundtable, 347-324-3704. Of course, we have Sheree and Chris Geo from Truth Frequency Radio Network with me. Of course, Chris and Sheree do their show every Friday and Saturday night, starting, I think they start at 6 o'clock, going all the way till 9 Central Time. Of course, you can catch them on Fridays and Saturday nights. And then, of course, you can catch my show, my special edition show of Truth Frequency, special edition of 32 Degrees on Saturday nights. Actually, we'll have a show this weekend where I'm talking about positive timelines. I'm going to have Sandra Sabatini from the Pythagoras Conference joining me this weekend. We'll be talking about the Pythagoras Conference, how it's going to affect humanity. This conference is going to take place in October. Some very, very interesting speakers that will be joining that. Of course, Bruce Agnew and my brother will be part of. Laura Eisenhower will be part of that. And you also can win tickets on the show as well. So tune in for that. And also, if you want to buy tickets, you can always buy tickets at www.ursuadams.com. All you have to do is type in hit the link, hit the promotional code, and hit it done. It takes $100 off the price of the ticket. We'll be back here on freedomizerradio.com, right here on 32 Degrees of Insanity.
This is Debbie.
And I'm Michael, along with CD, the Constitutional Defender Dog. Is mainstream media giving you the real stories, or are they just telling you what they want you to hear?
Join us for Securing Liberty on Freedomizer Radio, Thursday evenings at 11 p.m. Central.
We'll be joined by great guests, discuss interesting and important topics, current events, maybe even a little humor. Be prepared for anything.
It will be 90 minutes of information sure to help you on your quest for truth. So join Securing Liberty at 11 p.m. Central on Freedomizer Radio.
Hey, y'all, this is Ron with Ron's Media Maker. I would like to invite you to listen to my show every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for our international listeners, that's 1800 hours to 2000 hours Greenwich Mean Time right here on Freedomizer Radio. I always interview a broad spectrum of guests ranging from entrepreneurs to the eclectic. I also like to keep you up to date on the latest breaking news in geopolitics, world events, astronomy, technology, science, and how it relates to the 21st century and an emerging global order. Be sure to visit our website at freedomizerradio.com, take part in our lively chat room, visit our sponsors, or read breaking news articles on our Twitter feed. You can also find out more about the wide variety of shows and hosts at freedomizerradio.com. If you'd like to comment or speak with a guest during the show, just give us a call at 347-324-3704.
Wow, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. 10:55 in the PM, 8/20/2012. In some parts of the world, I'm 43 years old. Well, I have been in some parts of the world for some time now, but in New York, or actually in Colorado, I'm 43. But here in Reno, I'm still 42. So, not old yet. Haven't gotten there. But if I was in Minnesota, I'd already be old. But see, I've been back and forth to California, and so many times I'm floating around the world, I'm probably still only 39 with all the traveling I've done over my years. And actually, I did go across the international date line a few times. I'm a polyglot, so really, I might have another day until my birthday if we kind of do everything back and forth. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, welcome back, 32 Degrees of Insanity. You're listening to us on freedomizerradio.com. Again, if you guys want to give a call in, 347-324-3704. Again, that's 347-324-3704. Tonight's been kind of a plethora of information. We have been all kinds of different subjects. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the freedomizerradio.com chat room tonight. It's great to see you all here tonight and sticking around. Also, remember, on Saturday night, if you did not hear, if you're just tuning in, I will be doing my special edition of 32 Degrees on truthfrequencyradio.com. I have the hiccups, excuse me. Truthfrequencyradio.com, and I will be having Sandra Sabatini of the Pythagoras Conference with me as well, and we'll be talking all about the Pythagoras Conference that's going to be taking place in October in Tennessee. It says here Kentucky. I have to relook. I think it's Tennessee. And we'll have her on. So we'll be talking all about the guests that she's going to be bringing in. Marcio Pinga, my brother Gary Voss will be there as well, talking about alternative energy, his Green Aid project and such. And Gary, I'm trying to get things together for Gary to get on the show. We'll be talking a little bit about Tesla technology. Laura Magdalene Eisenhower lined up as well. Laura is the great-great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, so stick around. She'll be coming in the next couple weeks as well here on 32 Degrees of Insanity. So tonight I have Chris and Sheree of Truth Frequencies. They've been generously spending some time with me on the air tonight. I have some other guests as well. We have Kevin from Minnesota, Dave Kelso. Let's see, Jay Larson. Looks like Jay Larson is on. Sorry, Jay, I know you've been kind of holding there for a while. We've got Sister Sarah there, and of course, let's see, who else do we have? I think that's it for right now, but we have several other listeners listening in. And also, if you want to listen in, and just, if you're out and about and you've got your mobile telephone, you can always call in to listen to us as well, 347-324-3704. And I saw some chatter in the chat room asking about the music that I pick. The last song that you heard was called Steely Man, and that was written by my very close friend Brock Butler of the band called Perpetual Groove. And if you guys have not had a chance to listen to Perpetual Groove, they're a band out of Atlanta, Georgia. I actually met Brock, we're working on 6 years now since we met. We met on a cruise called Jam Cruise. And so Brock has been kind of a intimate part of the message, and has also been a very, the Disco Biscuits as well. We'll be playing some of their stuff as well. And we're going to be trying to incorporate some independent music into 32 Degrees, not only on the special edition, but also here as well on the Freedomizer Radio Network as well, so we can kind of bring out some of those independent, and of course, beautiful design, trading voices we led with as well. So I'm going to bring everybody back here. Of course, we'll bring Sheree. Welcome back, Sheree. Sister Sarah, looks like. Yeah, Sister Sarah's here. Kevin, looks like Dave Kelso, and, of course, Jay Larson. Now, before we go into this,
hello, people.
Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look, just kidding. But happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Before we hit the top of the hour, I said that we were going to do some sort of a roundtable here, but Dave wanted to bring on...
I got to bring Katerina Edwards in.
Yep, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to go into that, and I wanted to, she wants to give a testimonial because we've been kind of talking throughout the last couple hours. We've been kind of all over the board. But kind of the main underlining message of the last couple hours is how not only that you can, you're responsible for your own soul and your own awakening and saving of your own self, but also you're responsible for your own consciousness and your enlightenment. And so here we go. We'll bring Kelso's friend on here. Welcome to the show.
I didn't bring her on yet. I got to do that. And by the way,
okay.
I'm an independent musician. Use all of my stuff that you want. And I'm going to add Katerina Edwards in. Here we go.
All right. Let's bring Katerina Edwards to the show.
Provided her phone is we are ringing.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh.
Automatic voice message. 508.
It always works that way.
Yeah, that was...
Why don't you do me a favor? Do me a favor. Why don't you give her a? I'll take you off mic right now. See if you can just Skype me when you have her on. Bring it back on. We'll just start the round table. How's that sound?
Okay, cool. That can work. Because sometimes I have to call her 3 times in order for it to ring on her phone once because she's in Hawaii and the signal just maybe Fukushima is screwing with it. I have no idea.
All right. Why don't you just Skype me when you get her on the air? All right, guys. So,
excuse me, Donnie. With all due respect, I have to point out a contradiction with what you've been saying about all night. Today is not your birthday. Today is the recognition of the day of your birth.
Oh, okay.
But happy birth recognition day.
Today is, yeah. That's what it said. You know, my birthday's not until tomorrow. Well, until actually, in some areas of the world, because everybody on my Facebook is so generous today. I had to see happy birthdays all over my board today. But you know, in say the UK or in Australia, I already had my birthday. And now, of course, we're now past the midnight hour in the East Coast, so of course my birthday took place, and now we're past the midnight hour in Colorado, and we're approaching the midnight hour out here on the West Coast. So I'm the last one to get my birthday. Everybody else got my birthday before me. That's a contradiction of words. Anyways, guys, so we have a round table here. We have Sheree, we have Kevin, we have Sister Sarah. What do you guys want to talk about this last hour? It is open forum. Whatever you want, whatever we want to talk about, let's talk about it. Bueller.
I'm here.
Who owns the land?
Go first.
Who owns the
Whoever
land?
wants to go. Sister Sarah, you got the mic. Go ahead.
Who owns the land? I was thinking about on Proof's show tonight. They were talking about he was talking a bit about his
on whose show?
Proof Negative.
Oh, Proofs. Sorry.
Yeah. So and so anyway, long story short, it was about real estate. That's sort of maybe one of the big topics. But I begin, basically, it moves so quickly. Most people don't. They have a piece of paper. Basically, the way it goes is you have a piece of paper, and because of what's that word again? Derivatives or the big gamble in the sky, whatever it is. All those guys doing all that. It's moving so quickly, or there is opportunity because of the way it's set up to just always be shifting it around, and so that's where it all gets interesting at this point to me for some reason. Because also, when I've gone and read the Constitution recently, including the Declaration of Independence, and tied back into this part again about the real estate that they and the issues that they were talking about that it's linked to, I was thinking about, that in the articles of the Constitution, that's where they start to clarify, how this voting thing is going to go, meaning, according to the color of your skin, how much of a person are you worth, and then there's a percentage of the number of the states, of that state, right, who's voting eligible, and that's who really elects the government, which means that how much, and you could vote according to property ownership, right, and also patents and copyrights, that was all relevant, which all gets connected to the Library of Congress, which then gets to the issue about secrecy and oaths, right? Like, is that really bad all the time? Anyway, it's an issue. And so, I guess I've said enough. But the other thing I found out, just go back about land. Who owns the land? I think we all know what I was saying so far. But you know what I found recently, like within the last year on internet radio, and I don't know why I never thought that this would be an issue, but now it makes sense. The issue of haunted houses or haunted spaces and real estate values.
Let's hold on to that thought, Sister Sarah. Let's hold on to that thought. I got Dave Kelso. He's got, that's something we should do for the Halloween show on 32 Degrees. So we should do a whole thing on haunted real estate, because I tell you, in Minnesota, there's an area called Summit Avenue in St. Paul. Every dang mansion on there has some sort of history behind it as far as it being haunted. So I'm going to bring Kelso on here. Dave, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks. I'm on with Katerina Edwards.
Outstanding.
Hello.
You're giving me a little bit of feedback, Dave.
Yeah, no. The noise you hear is the frogs. Katerina is the line. The noise you hear is the frogs.
All right. Got
They're
it.
called Coke frogs.
Welcome, Katerina, to our show, 32 Degrees of Insanity.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Me, myself?
Yeah.
All right. I've been a woofer out in Hawaii since
you're
the middle
a woofer.
of May.
You're a woofer.
Yes, I am.
One of my very close friends is a woofer. He's actually up in Oregon right now on an organic farm.
Yeah, that's where I'm from originally. So.
Oh, what part? What part of Oregon?
Portland.
Oregon, are you? Oh, you're from Portland. I lived in Eugene for many years.
Yeah. Nice. I like it there. So yeah, I'm out in Hawaii, and I am an artist as well. So I've been using this time to really work on my artwork, and it's been a really crucial point in my life as well, and just kind of working with my internal process too. So it's been a really great place for me, and I've been meeting a lot of really wonderful people who have been really helping me along. And I'm getting ready to go on this week-long intensive retreat next week, and it's be a cool experience. It's at the sanctuary that I was staying at. The farm that I was at is actually more so a sanctuary. We were doing a woofing trade program, but it was also a place also where I could do really deep inquiry and be working through a lot of emotional issues and, metaphysical issues, so to speak. So it's been a really, really amazing experience, and I think just the practice of working with the land and getting back to the earth and working with sustainability and all of these wonderful things that are really needed right now has been...
And the frogs.
And the frogs. That's a different city. Oh, Kermity frogs. I hear my cousin.
Well, the question is, are you actually licking the frogs? Because that's out on our show, Truth Frequency Radio, Fridays and Saturdays. I'm sorry.
There's these poisonous frogs here that the dogs will lick and you will die.
Oh, yeah, so don't lick.
So
No, but...
it's pretty...
No yellow snow, no frogs. Both are bad.
Well, I was just going to tell you, though, as far as those metaphysical experiences, one thing that can help a whole lot with processing those is psychedelics and other entheogens. Have you ever used anything like that?
I myself have not. I haven't actually had like right place, right time, those kind of circumstances. For a while, I was actually extremely ill. So it's only been in the past year that I've been able to heal myself to actually be able to be doing things that are more physically demanding and that kind of stuff. Like I had fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue all the time, but I don't have any of that anymore. And
if you don't mind me asking, how did you heal yourself?
How did I heal myself? I worked with a naturopath who figured out that I had a lot of mineral deficiencies, and we were working with that, but I also was employing things like Reiki and really just shifting a lot of my internal stuff that I had internalized. And it was also a lot of dealing with past traumas. Like I've had a really traumatic childhood, as most people do, you know. So,
and a lot of people with fibromyalgia.
Yeah, so for me, the fibromyalgia actually healed pretty completely, pretty quickly when I started looking at some of those past traumas and really being open to forgiving people. I don't want to sound trite or anything, but like real forgiveness, you know, not, oh, okay, I forgive that person, but forgiveness that you can kind of see where people are coming from and what was going on in their life. I'm not going to really get too deep into that stuff. It's personal, but
oh no, that's fine. But that's wonderful.
Real
I can speak for the fact that Katerina has made awesome progress with her paradigm shifting. I mean, the stuff that, you know, has taken, you know, many of us, a lot of other people, like in some cases, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to shift, she's done in half a year, and it's just, she's just a fish in water with the shifting, because it's like she'll go through her processes, and again, I'm not going to get into personal details, so don't worry, Katerina. I'm going to be very general. I'm just really impressed and amazed by you, by what I'm seeing, and I'm giving an external perspective looking at you. That basically she'll go through these processes, and she'll just feel like, oh my God, it's so much, and you know, and she doesn't realize how amazingly graceful that she's actually navigating it in comparison to what most of us have, you know, have had to navigate it. And she's such a trooper, and everybody's just, you know, looking at her with their jaws dropped onto the floor, like, oh my God, how awesome. And she's like, what? I just went through freaking hell, and everyone's looking at me like I just parted the Red Sea, you know. And she's just not realizing in that moment how awesome what she's doing is, and just how much progress she makes so quickly, and what she manifests so quickly, and just all the amazing things that she's overcome and done in her life. And then I point it out in hindsight, and then I tell her some stuff I've been through and compare it to that, and then she's like, oh my God, I am making fast progress, aren't I? So, I mean, she's an inspiration. That's why I wanted her on here. She is absolutely an inspiration. She's helped me with a lot of things too.
Are you in the Big Island, like by Hilo?
I am, actually. I'm in Pahoa. It's right outside of Hilo.
Right. And what little facility are you at? Is that the David Wolf? I can't remember the name of the place. The little retreat area. What is that called?
I'm not sure, but I'm actually here in Pahoa with a friend for a while, because I finished my wolfing experience 2 weeks ago, and then I'm going back there for the retreat, and it's on South Point Road. It's on at the very south tip of the island, actually. Yeah. So it's in a city called Ma'alehu. The sanctuary is called Kipukamalahia, and the woman's name who I'm staying with her name is Rashani. So it's a really cool place. the land sort of draws you to it.
Have you ever heard her mention a gentleman named David Wolf?
Yeah, I've heard of David Wolf.
Right.
He's really into psychedelics, right?
Well, he's into more into natural foods and cacao and healing yourself and going through self-realization.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually at that retreat you're talking about, I actually met David Wolf there 5 years ago now. So it's fantastic at 19. Not a lot of 19-year-olds go through the process of self-realization and overcome their challenges.
I kind of feel like I've been dealt a pretty interesting load at this point in my life, definitely.
Well, Katerina definitely helped me clear a lot of things, too, and she's got a lot of wisdom. Hey, Katerina?
Yeah?
Would it be okay if maybe Jay Larson gives his perspective on you? I think he's lurking around here someplace. Jay, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
I thought I saw your head poking out behind that rock.
No, it was from under the rock. I was trying to look for the gold. You find it in unusual places.
Katerina has a heart of gold. Does that count?
Oh, definitely.
You're flattering me.
The acceleration these children are doing are tremendous. I've been basically studying occult science since about 1970, and before that, even as a kid back in the 60s, I started out with Harold Sherman's book, ESP, and that's back when they didn't have too many books on this stuff. And
but the
dinosaurs
were running around, weren't they?
Oh, well, that's what I was looking for as a paleontologist to celebrate our favorite person's birthday today. You know, he'd become one of us, one of the dinosaurs.
Well, hey, Jay remembers logging into the internet with real logs, cutting that wood, fighting off the T-Rex, riding the Brontosaurus to school. You know, he's been around. So tell us your perspective on Katerina.
Yeah, she gets concepts very easily, and she's a lot more open than the pig-headedness that we had in our early ages, because it's not so much egocentric as we were. We were taught more. Basically, you're nothing unless you're in relation to society and stuff, and things that all these programs they put on us with the ego and stuff, and she just seems to whiz right past that stuff and decides on something and just does. You know, it's just that simple. Why we're worrying about what other people are thinking of us and everything else. Even if it's a small thing, you know, it's hard to change as an older person because we have all these, we've been put in line by people around us saying, oh, that's crazy and all that. And these young kids, especially Katerina.
Are your depends on too tight or something? You're having trouble changing. I'm just playing.
You know, I don't know if Sheree can add to this, but one thing that I've experienced in my existence when you try to find your own self-realization, that at a younger age, it is very unfortunate that you find people that are very much into manipulating individuals and getting caught up in the selfishness of trying to find an attractive young woman and say, yes, I'd like to show you the way, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So in your quest, Katerina, I strongly suggest that if you are looking for a teacher or a guru, that you let them be that and never get caught up in the fake gurus or teachers that are actually manipulating and wanting to cross the boundaries of being a teacher or a guru.
Yeah, that's what I've really appreciated about the woofing coach that I've had is, I mean, she's very well educated and everything, but she just presents herself as a farmer, you know. She doesn't try to put herself above anybody, and she really just treats you like an equal, which is something that has really helped me over the past couple of months as well to step more into my sovereignty, is to realize that she's not above me, and she continues to show me that she's not above me, and is very open and transparent with her communications with me, and is like just honest about her feelings and doesn't have these spiritual elitist airs about her either. So
yeah, I always tell Katerina, align with herself and her sovereignty, because she is her own authority. She's not better or worse than anyone else, and that she aligns with herself, then that's the best way to go. Doors open up, because then you're not living in anyone else's shadow.
Exactly. And I mean, growing up in a Catholic paradigm, I mean, I was very turned off by the idea of somebody being above me, because I knew from a very young age that, you know, that these people really didn't have much for me. Like, that the answers that I was getting was coming from internal spheres. It wasn't coming from school. It wasn't coming from religion. It wasn't coming from my parents. It wasn't coming from society. And everything I was seeing around me was just wrong. Like, it just felt so wrong. And that's where, I mean, I started studying metaphysics when I was 11. Like, I started being interested in auras and all that stuff, but because I needed more answers than what I was getting, and just being curious about the internal world as well, and how perceptions really determine what we see, and, you know, these filters that we have.
See, I told you she was wise.
She is. She's very wise. Have you ever looked up your birth chart?
Yeah, I have. I actually got a birth chart reading like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
It's really awesome.
I went to parochial school. That was a nightmare. I've never seen it more un-Christian people than in Christian parochial school. It's almost like it's like Hitler running an anti-racism rally. It's just ugh.
I went through all private Christian schools as well. So it's difficult.
Nightmare.
What was this question about birth charts, though?
Yeah.
You were just curious.
Did you read anything in there about yourself that is just crazy coincidental that it would say that and then it like came true? Because mine said that I would get at risk of getting attacked by an animal, and I was bit by a huge German Shepherd. It was a retired police dog when I was 10. Yeah, and I was like, whoa, that's in my birth chart. That's crazy. Did you come across anything like that?
She didn't come across anything crazy like that. I mean, I was an hour reading with her, but mainly the gist of it was talking to me about, you know, like how it's in my chart that I'm supposed to be traveling. I'm supposed to be, like, talking with people, like, sort of like yourselves right now, people who have all this influence for changing people towards a better paradigm, you know? Like, so that's in my chart. Like, this whole shift.
Katerina, you never told me that. That was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Because
I found it, too.
Wow, because I've been telling you that same thing for our whole friendship, and I don't know anything about charts.
Yeah, so I can send it to you, Dave, actually, if you want to listen to it. It's really interesting. Talking about, I mean, I have this Aquarius moon to me who, I mean, that's really interested in all of these new technologies coming out and really spreading the word about, you know, like, new stuff for the planet. And just kind of moving people into these new awarenesses that are so life-changing. So I feel this drive to help inspire and motivate people as well. I mean, that's That's what gets me going.
That's wonderful. I mean, and you know, I really think you should do DMT. I'm just going to put it out there. Everybody should do DMT once if they have that perspective that she just said. You should do DMT because it will prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is something much bigger and better beyond this plane of existence. And not only that you are infinite. You are everything and also part of everything. And everybody else is part of that everything.
I have a question. I have a question about DMT.
Yes.
I've kind of I guess you could say I've had some reservations about it because, you know, I know it's serious. I know it does what it does, and I know it really opens you up, and I just don't want to do that before I'm ready. So it's how do I know I'm ready? I mean, I know that Illinois bundle flower contains DMT, and you know, there's things that contain DMT, and you know, Jay knows how to prepare it safely and all that. So I mean, as far as my physical body, I know how to do it safely. But I mean, as far as psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, it's you know, how do you know you're ready to venture into that sort of an experience?
Well, the physical is 50%, and then the mental is the other 50%. And if you can get to the point where you can actually sit down with it in front of you, completely relax, you know, make sure you're loosey-goosey, you know, put on some really loose-fitting clothes. And if you can get to the point where you can sit down and look at it and not have your heart about to jump out of your chest, then you're ready. If you get to the point where you really feel like you can put away anything that you are even thinking about, don't think about anything, and just let it come to you, then you're ready.
I have a little different take on it. It's like skydiving. You know, if you think about it too much, then if you read the disclaimer paper that you signed before you jump out of an airplane that says basically if you die that they're not responsible, you're going to chicken out. You've just got to do it. You've just got to just jump in head first, and that's it. And just understand that this compound, this molecule, the spirit molecule, it can't hurt you, not at all. You can't overdose. You can't have anything wrong with you. That's smoking it. If you drink it and you eat the wrong foods, if you don't follow the diet, things like that, then yes, you could have some adverse effects. But as far as smoking it, just jump head in. There's nothing absolutely that can happen wrong. Nothing at all.
You can do it.
By the time you freak out, you're already back. You know, you can't get up and go running off a roof or anything like that. Although I do recommend that you have somebody with you that's not doing it so they can monitor everything. But I've never heard of a bad situation with DMT.
Was somebody else trying to say something?
I said, you can do it.
Katerina, am I hearing dogs on your end?
Yep, you are.
We got dogs and frogs. I hope the dogs ain't licking the frogs.
Or I hope the dogs aren't, no, I won't even say it.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. Anyway.
I'm definitely curious about DMT for sure.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Maybe you know what we should do? You know what we should do? We should all do a DMT radio show. Everybody takes DMT, and we all get on the radio, and we all just tell and just start talking.
Talking about what we
Well, actually, Anthony Peake asked us to videotape our next experience and send it to him so he can do research on his book and put our experience in his book. The thing about
I have a question.
It's really traumatic for the mind. So when you come back, your brain does something to try to keep you from remembering that experience.
Right.
So the only way you can really remember it is to write it down afterwards.
Well, if I ever finish my master's in psychology, I tell you one thing I'm going to do is an experiment with DMT. That is definitely going to be in my thesis. I think the consciousness itself.
Katerina?
Yeah?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Katerina. The one thing that's been a big huge thing on Donnie's show is, obviously within all this 2012 stuff, to put it simply, there's, two basic timelines that either of us could shoot ourselves down, positive and negative, and, some of us are going one way, some of us are going the other. What would you suggest for people listening to Donnie's show? And Jay, you're in a whirlwind again. You're interfering with the line there. I hear the whirlwind noise. I recognize it well. What would you suggest as far as people keeping more focused on that positive timeline and having the experiences that you're experiencing rather than all this doom and gloom and psyop and fear porn fucking bullshit that so many people get locked into, that, they could make that their reality if they hook into it and go down that other timeline, God help them. What would you suggest as far as them, just working it out towards the positive timeline and not getting hooked into these, prophet of doom sort of traps that, are just laid out all over the internet? What would you suggest, Katerina?
Inquiry. Number one, I would suggest inquiry. Questioning yourself, questioning what you're believing question what I'm believing has been the most important thing, I think, so far. That and just getting back to the present moment. It sounds very trite, I know, to just be present. I remember so many times where I would want to kill you, Dave, because you were telling me, just relax, go with the flow, blah, 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 all this other spiritual shit. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to really question those thoughts, question those fears, because beyond that, you're going to find this unshatterable presence that really is the truth of who you are. And that's unshakable, that's unmovable. There could be, cyclones around you, but if you are connected to that, that is all that matters. So that is really what has helped me keep getting back to this quote-unquote positive timeline. I don't really think about it in terms of positive and negative. I'm thinking about it in terms of, what's real for me right now.
Katerina, can you clarify the difference between that and the New Age trap? Because there's a New Age trap that says, shun the dark, love and light, shun the dark.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah, my God. I mean, there's nothing wrong with love and light when you know what it is. But the New Age wants you to shun the dark and go off into complacency. And you ran into this one lady that one time that, I'm ascending, I'm vibrating. You did her little alcoholic meth head and alcohol, and she was vibrating all right, straight into rehab. But so what would you recommend for people to discern the difference between this New Age bullshit and the real deal?
The real deal is when you can have this intense cry, you can have this yell, you can have this scream that just comes from your heart that just is powerful, and you can feel that peace that comes afterwards, that silence, that that clarity that isn't forced. You don't have to think positive thoughts to get to this place, because this is your natural state. It's not this place you have to think happy, positive thoughts to, attract to you, whatever crap that's going on around there. I mean, this is the state that is beyond the emotions and the mind and all of that stuff. I mean, this is the eternal presence that we are, and that is what you need to connect to in order to navigate this really windy path. Because the more you can bring your mind back to just the awareness with which you are doing things, that's where the woofing has really come in handy, because it always has to bring you back to the moment when you're doing things that are really physically demanding, moving dirt, shoveling, digging trenches, pickaxing, pulling the weeds. It all just is bringing you back to this moment, this awareness with which you are doing all of it. So that is what I find to be the most important.
Hey, Katerina, if I may, I would also like to mention, just to kind of give some shameless plugs for your stuff here. If people do a search for Katerina Edwards on YouTube, you'll find video from her and I in Chicago. You'll find her music. You'll find her woofing videos. You'll find her art. You'll find a lot of stuff. If you go to http://KaterinaEdwards.deviantart.com, you'll find her DeviantArt profile. And if
you're not quite as active as my Facebook.
Yeah. That's what I was about to get to next. And if you search Katerina Edwards on Facebook, you'll find her Facebook page. So I just wanted to kind of let people know. She does painting. She does drawing. She sings. She does music. She does videos. She's really getting into all this poetry, and she runs Ubuntu Linux. I installed it on her laptop myself. Her laptop's pretty kick-ass, by the way. Dual processor. I love her laptop.
You're the only one.
But the laptop sounds like a jet plane.
This is the second day. It's the second. What I was going to say was, I've been really... If anybody's curious about my process that I've been navigating the past, the year and a half really that I've been focused on this. A lot of my writings that I've done talk more about what I'm explaining. So that is on my Facebook art page. And if anybody's curious, I'd be happy to talk with anyone who's struggling with New Age bullshit and needs some clarity. Because I've been there. I've been there. The first step I was making in my recovery from being so ill, that was the first thing I saw that was not Catholic, And it took more discernment and more navigating to realize that, wow, this doesn't feel good either. So,
Katerina, you put adorableness and wisdom in the same package.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you. You've been an awesome friend. Anybody who has you as a friend is damn lucky.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions for the Guru Master here?
No, I'm not a guru. Don't touch me on that so bad.
I'm not. I'm being playful. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Anybody want to bring anything else up, though? Questions, comments?
Actually, guys, what I need to do, there's a caller that called in a little earlier, and he had a question that he's been trying to get back on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him on real quick because we've got about 20 minutes left of the show here. So I'm going to bring him on real quick here. I'm just going to mute because the froggies, I can hear them. Bloop, bloop, bloop. 469, welcome to the show. Text us again. You there? Hello? Bueller? All right, I guess not. So actually, I'm going to bring Davey there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, those frogs are really, really loud.
I'm so sorry.
How many frogs are there?
Can't help it. They're all
is there like a full aquarium
there?
They're
everywhere.
Oh, they're in the
trees.
trees.
These coqui frogs. They're tree frogs.
It's out in nature. They're everywhere, like crickets.
Yeah. Here in the crickets are very, very loud. Well, why don't we do this, guys? As my birthday approaches here, I'm going to kind of close down. I'm going to close down the show a little early tonight. I wanted to do that. What do we got going on for Truth Frequency come the end of this week, Chris and Sheree?
Oh, we've got a lot going on. Alfred Weber will be joining us on Friday, of course. Hopefully you'll be joining us as well. Saturday, we've got a special surprise coming up. And much, much more. So you just have to tune in and just find out. TruthFrequencyRadio.com, of course.
Fantastic. And I'll join you for that show with Alfred on Friday as well. Looking forward
that would be
to that.
great. In the first hour, we actually have I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. I was just going to, I was asking Donnie if I could ask him something.
Donnie? What now? Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat.
I just wanted to ask you a question, Donnie.
Sure.
I was wondering what your perspective was on.
Oh, hey, Donnie, what do you think about?
I was wondering what your perspective is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is weird.
There must be some kind of delay or something, or maybe Manners just completely blew out the window or something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, weird. It's like we're like desynchronized or something. It's weird. But yeah, I'm just wondering what Donnie's perspective is on.
Well, what's really weird is
everything Katerina was saying.
Got a conversation going here, and you keep jumping in. Right, exactly.
Okay, hold on a second here. What just happened there? I'm just like I heard somebody asking me a question, and you were asking me a question, Chris, and we were trying. What was going on there? My brain just went completely blank. I understand where Dave was trying to ask me a question, but we were trying to finish up with what's happening with you on Friday with Alfred Weber on the show, Chris. Geo, are you there? Wow. Everybody hung up. Amazing. Whoa, that was quite interesting right there. It seemed like everybody in the butler.
Oh, I'm up here.
Are you there? Oh, okay. All right. So Jay's there. Everybody else seems like they hung up on me. I don't know what happened there. So anyways, guys, I'm going to just kind of close it up here. Jay, what do you think you got going on? What's going on with you, brother?
Right now, I can't hear what you're saying. There's some sort of interference.
Really? There's interference on my end or on your end?
I can hear you loud and clear, Donnie.
Okay, all right. I don't know what's happening with the end of this show. It almost seemed like it went into major chaos there, and there was like some sort of fight between Geo and what was happening there, Kevin? I was.
It seemed like there was just a lot of over talk on each other that it just wasn't coming out clear.
Yeah,
Chris was in the middle of talking about what was going on with his show, and then that other gentleman started talking over him before he was able to finish what he was saying.
Oh, okay. Well, all we know, guys, if you guys tune in, I will be joining Chris Geo and Alfred and Sheree on the show on Friday. So join us on truthfrequencyradio.com on Friday. Of course, we start at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time going all the way to midnight. You can also check out my Facebook page. We'll always have that as well. Remember to tune into Wednesday night's show as well. Wednesday night, I'm in the process. I might have Laura on the Laura Eisenhower on the show on Wednesday. I just shot her off an email. She wanted to come on in August, but we'll see what happens. If not, I might, because I've got a date tomorrow night, dinner date tomorrow night, Kevin, with this new girl that I've been hanging out with for my birthday. So I'm gonna maybe I might have. I might play a replay on Wednesday night. We'll see what happens. And then remember, on Saturday night, Truth Frequency Radio for Special Edition 32 Degrees, I will be having Sandra Sabatini of the Pythagoras Conference. Sandra will be joining me on the show on Saturday. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I'm sorry about the last few minutes there of the show, guys. You know, I kind of just want to take it off a little bit here early. It is my birthday here in 15 minutes. Thank you all for visiting my Facebook page and leaving me wonderful birthday messages, and all of you that are in the chat room tonight. Thanks a lot for joining us. My voice is about ready to go shot. Toto wants to go outside. He's kind of circling around me. So we've kind of been going off nonstop. Very few breaks in commercials. That I want to thank Chris Geo and Sheree for joining me this evening for my show. I want to thank Kelso and Katerina for coming in at the end there. She's interesting, even though the frogs were very, very loud. And I want to thank all of you guys. You know, thanks all for the great birthday wishes. I'll be an old man the next time you hear me, so I'll be the big 4-3. Shut up, Leo. Yeah, I'm a Leo, but you got to remember, I'm on the cusp of Virgo, guys. So I've got the Leo ego with the Virgo temperament. With that being said, guys, God bless you. hang in there. Remember, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And we kind of the underlying message of the whole show tonight was basically, just remember just remember you are the one that can save yourself, and you are the one that's responsible for your well-being and your consciousness. And with that being said, of course, I'd like to close out with one of my favorite things from The Last Dictator, Charlie Chaplin.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!